What's up, everybody? It's me, Kevin, here with Chandler David Smith out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. Chandler started with zero money, zero knowledge in anything, selling door-to-door pest control contracts. Now owns and controls over $6 million of real estate, is about to close on another duplex. And when I heard these numbers at first, for somebody who's just 28 years old, while we were skiing yesterday, the first thing I said is, BS, prove it to me. And so what did we do today? We went and looked at all of his properties. Let's roll the clip.
What's up, folks? We are coming to you from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Let's go. I'm here to talk to you about where you put all your money.
Let's do it. Right into real estate, baby.
Why real estate?
Because I feel like anywhere else can't provide you the returns, because you've got cash flow appreciation. You've got principal pay down, you've got tax benefits, you've got everything where you can get way better returns. It's a much safer place than a lot of other avenues as well.
Do you ever try to force appreciation by getting like really good deals in real estate? And how do you find those?
100%. For me, my favorite place to find really good deals is to find someone who's selling at what they think is market value according to their rents, but I know their rents are extremely low. So I can buy it because no one else is picking that up. I jump up the rents, and so now I'm getting huge returns, and I've got into a property that really was below market value, even though they didn't know so.
Not only did you get a wedge deal on this because there's some elements of deferred maintenance, you also got a wedge on this because the seller was selling it with the rents closer to maybe $600. And so when they did their math, they were thinking, okay, yeah, market value with the rents where these are should be somewhere around X. And you thought, oh, well, that's what they think, but I know I can push the rents. And so my market value says this is actually a great purchase at $300K. And right when you close escrow, you bump the rents $125 a door, essentially.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, there are some people that are under lease that you have to get creative in finding ways to bump those rents.
Yeah.
And the thing that's actually funny about this property is it did have one of the units that had already been bumped, but they were still happy to say, all right, this is where they're at, and so we're good to go on this. Where a lot of my other properties, those rents haven't been bumped yet, and we can get even more on them.
And so what do you do if all of your tenants leave when you go to bump the rents?
Honestly, that's okay, because we know where the rents are at, and it's really not hard to fill it. I feel like everyone's so terrified of vacancy, but the reality is if you have people in the right place or a good management company, you're always going to keep them filled if you know what you're doing, because you know what it can rent for. You can get them filled within a week or two.
People get intimidated by that feeling that they have to rush and have everything perfect right when they buy a place, and every different contractor is going to come in and everything's going to work like clockwork, whereas it sounds like you're just like, this is a good deal, let's buy this and let's raise the rents. All right, this is looking good for a while. How about some new sod next spring? You know?
Totally. No, I think way too often people are so scared or intimidated by the way something looks. And if you go in and it doesn't smell so fresh, I'm usually in the right place.
There you go.
We've got a real shortage for apartments. It's just something, especially in this price range, that's why I love it. I mean, my stuff isn't high-end stuff, but it's stuff that we've made very clean units and that are nice units. Nice. And what's cool about that is you've always got that niche. No one's building apartments to compete with my stuff that's in that, you know, $600, $700, $800 range.
Oh, they're building more expensive stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
We've always got the ability to keep them filled because there's always a need for housing in that.
Another reason to wedge. The expensive new stuff doesn't even compete against you. You're actually filling an affordable housing void by investing in the lower end, keeping the cash flow obviously for yourself and some improvements, but not over improving, because you know once you start over improving, you might have to over improve so significantly to then be able to compete with these units that really you're just pricing yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is your magic market right here.
Totally.
The thing that's cool about this area is a lot of people are coming and doing what I've done with this property. If you drive down these streets, you'll see a lot of the units are getting cleaned up and turning around. Now you've still got stuff like this, but these I would guess are renting to a different market. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Stuff, and unfortunately they are a bummer, but it doesn't hurt me, or it hasn't hurt me from getting good tenants in mine.
Yeah, if anything, it might help you, because what would somebody prefer to live in? Your duplex with that, a curb appeal, or this one?
Yeah.
I mean, they could do so far by getting rid of the 50s iron-stained paint color.
Yeah.
There's a need for housing, but no one is building anything in that range, where I'm going in and finding them and they're renting at $500 and I'm able to increase that to the $750 where they belong. but they're not competing with the newer stuff.
We talked about loans and financing here and how people are jaded. So does that mean all of your loans are variable short-term financing, and this is how you're able to acquire, 60 doors?
No, not at all. All my loans are 30-year fixed. The one other commercial loan I did that does have rates changing every 5 years was an incredible deal on an eightplex.
On an eightplex.
That's in Rexburg.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you've got, I would say, 8 units, and then you've got this one seller financing, which is a great deal, fixed rate, 20 years, that's perfect. That's below market. So you've really got that 8-plex, so 8 out of your 60 doors are on some kind of commercial financing. What's interesting about that is you don't have all of your loans that are coming due within 5 to 7 years. In fact, the vast majority of them are 30-year fixed rate loans.
Exactly.
This is the one you got the commercial financing on.
It is.
Because it's 8 units. Anything over 4, you're stuck with commercial, and you didn't get a for sale by owner on this.
Yep.
But you still got a good deal.
I got a great deal.
What'd you get? Yeah.
So I bought this for $420,000.
Okay.
And right now I could probably sell it for over $1 million, just
Nice.
because of the appreciation with the area. It's blown up, but also we got the rents way up. So it actually was on the MLS,
Yeah.
and people were passing on it just because the rents didn't make sense for the purchase price. But we jacked up the rents from, they were like $450, $500, and I think now our rents are up. Well, we're probably $750, $800 now.
You almost doubled the rents, and that's how you can justify doubling essentially the market value.
Yeah.
So here's another opportunity where you went in and bought somewhat of a property that needs work. I mean, just from the outside, the stairs, the doors, little things like that. But you don't care about that because you're looking at the rents. All this new construction around here?
Yeah, I am the ugliest place within a long ways around here. So these are all brand new condos, or I guess townhomes. These townhomes, I believe, are selling 130,000 plus, and they are the same size, same bedroom as what I'm renting over here.
So these are 130 a door, and you picked these up for just about 50, 52 a door.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Now, even though it's a commercial loan, you're not worried about this property
at all.
because the cash flow is so ridiculous.
Yeah, and honestly, this is one of the few properties I've considered like throwing more money in to pay off quicker.
Yeah.
Just because the cash flow is so strong that the return on the money I'd put in would be good, even though I'm against that. We'll see where my interest rate is once my 5 years up. It'll be here in the next year or so.
Bumps.
And depending on where rates are at, I'll kind of look at that and see what I want to do.
Well, and again, thank you for stopping, and I got to reacquaint my mind with you again.
No, you're great. I'm glad Jason's taking care of you. If you ever need anything,
In California, we would get sued for doing this. Coming in, filming, cops called, lawsuit.
It's a beautiful
Don't sue me, bro.
I started with selling pest control door to door. I went out for a job in the summer, and at first I was terrible. I wasn't selling anything, but then I really caught fire, and in under 4 months, I'd made $96,000 after my first summer.
96 grand, your first summer selling
yeah.
pest control. Now, I mean, right away, I'm thinking to myself, BS, man.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about this.
You're selling 1-year contracts. So each contract is $500.
Okay.
I sold 459 contracts. And your commission increases the more accounts that you sell. And so I had worked up until I was at a high commission. I mean, you can get 40 to 50% commission the more that you sell.
Let's say you hit 10 doors, and out of every door, or out of every set of 10 doors you hit, you closed 1 to 2 deals. Every deal you're closing going door to door in the summer, because who really wants to buy pest control right now? You're basically getting a check for $250.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 200, 150 to 250.
Depending on how much you've been selling, but towards the end, you were really raking it in.
Yeah, well, and you're selling to different homes, so they're different contract values. You might sell some pest control accounts to a bigger house for $700,
Oh, wow.
and others for only $400. So.
Ah, interesting. So it's variable based on square footage maybe, or something like that.
Exactly.
Interesting. So this is now, what skill set did you need to start doing that?
Honestly, I now take care of over 200 sales reps.
Yeah.
And the skill set just comes down to work ethic and your ability to go through the struggles that come with people mean to you on the doors. So
Wow.
as long as you can handle rejection and work hard.
There you go. The first money you made didn't come from an inheritance or working at Jamba Juice like I did. It came from selling door to door, which has kind of a negative connotation these days.
It does, yeah, and I think that's what I love about it. I mean, not only are you doing something that people don't think there's a way to make money, but you're gaining an incredible skill set. I mean, every day you're talking to people,
Different
you're learning
people.
to interact.
How fast can you build that rapport and not slip on a...
Yeah, and the thing I tell my reps is the money has been incredible, but I promise you, the ability I've gained to close deals like this is because of that skill set. So not only are you gaining a skill set, but you also have this opportunity where the sky's the limit. You're not limited to a Jamba Juice minimum wage or a certain wage. If you're a really hard worker, then you make a really huge income.
And so that's almost probably the big first key that people need to know when they get into real estate is, I would almost say, based on what we've talked about so far, first thing is build those connections. Get that real estate professional in your life. Get that lender in your life. But then, I mean, the very next, if not equally important step is make money somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I think people, they devalue money from somewhere else in real estate.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do, you can get the money to start. But in sales, it's the one place where if you can produce, if you can work hard, the sky is the limit on what you can create as an income. People don't realize it, but it took me time to be able to buy this. I mean, I've been doing this door-to-door job for, this is gonna be my 7th summer. And the difference between me and other people is I wasn't throwing, I mean, after $96,000, people would go buy a car or go buy X, Y, and Z. I saved that money, I continued to live poor, I built up my properties, I continue to get better at my job, and once I had the money, I put it into property like this rather
So
than
you didn't spend it all on fancy clothes and the glambo. Instead, you put it into a place you could sort of save it, maybe out of sight, out of mind, and then threw it into real estate. And what was that first deal you started with?
So the first deal I did was a condo.
So you started small. You started with that condo that you had money saved up for.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I moved into a duplex, and then I started buying 4plexes and an 8plex, and then pretty soon we were on the 24plex.
So it's almost like getting on the ride. So getting that first purchase, did that do anything to you psychologically?
It's huge. And people, that's why starting small is awesome, because once you see that first rent check, it's like, wow, this model works, and you can build on that. I think a lot of people would try to jump into this, and if they went through everything we went through to buy this, a lot of people wouldn't go through that process. I wouldn't have if this would have been my first one, but
Just
because I knew what I was
overwhelming
doing, yeah, I mean, it's easy to start with one because you've got a lot of control over one, and you can put your systems in place, and you can get to the point where you're comfortable with this.
Are you saying it's hard to get started on such steep things like 36 units plus?
Maybe a little bit.
Is it better to start small
Start small, then you can work your way up.
rather than getting destroyed the first run?
What would you do differently now if, let's say, you had to start completely over? You're 18 again, or who knows, you're 30, you got a kid, whatever. How would you do it? How would you start over today?
If I could go back, first of all, that property I wouldn't have bought in cash.
You paid cash for it. Okay, you would have leveraged it.
Yes. Second of all, I had that money, so I would have gotten into a 4plex or a duplex or something that I could live in, have my rent paid for. In this area, you could probably have your rent paid for and still even cash flow on some of the properties if you bought them smart. And so I would have done that because it would have got me more doors with less money down on it, which just means more property over time, more appreciation, more
control, and all the benefits trickle down from there. So in essence, buy maybe a 4-unit building if you can get that deal that's going to cash flow, or heck, even if you had to pay a small amount of rent, you're putting down 3.5%. You essentially rent from yourself one of the units, and the others are pretty much paying for everything. That's how you would have started again, huh?
Exactly.
How did you go from that one condo to 60, including this duplex?
Honestly, I had great revenue coming in from my sales job, period.
This is all from the door knocking gig, which,
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, door knocking, you do like a couple days of training and then you just go knock on doors.
Yeah, a little more than a couple. I mean, our training is incredible, but yeah, we train and then we'll train every morning.
But I mean, you don't need a degree, you don't even probably need to graduate high school.
Yeah.
So barriers to entry are actually very low.
Super low. And that's what's incredible about it is I always say that door-to-door sales is a catalyst for whatever direction you're going. And so those guys that are hard workers and maybe we're planning on doing 10 years of school, if they're that guy that's willing to put in that time or do anything else, if they apply that to the doors, they're going to be able to make money extremely fast and get through school debt-free or start investing in real estate.
So, and that's what you did. So after the condo, you were just making so much and you were spending so little because you weren't living high on the hog.
Exactly.
And then you were just dumping them into these real estate deals.
You know, buying in the wedge is like having a wedge when you're learning how to ski. You always gotta do it. Because it insulates you from unpredictable events in the marketplace and bad pranks.
That's always something I talk about in the real estate course, is buying around where you see this kind of new construction development going in and buying that older stuff in the wedge, because it's just an indicator that large developers are betting on the area. These are large development companies that, you know how much time and money they put into just data and research? We don't have access to that as small people, but we do have access to these old deals where we could easily do napkin math and say, these rents are way low. Let's swoop in, get a good deal, bump the rents and milk it. Because this is that new construction you said that just went in, and it's, so it's commercial below and you've got condos above that they just developed.
Yeah, and this was all finished within the last year.
It's incredible.
So, and then they just started right over on the next one over there.
So the eightplex you bought just down the street is benefiting from all of this, and again, not competing with you.
Exactly.
Because, you know, you get the lower rent product.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, though, is because the lower housing, like you have this huge influx of students,
Right.
but you can only add new stuff. So anyone that's building new stuff, they're only going to add the expensive stuff.
Sure.
And so all of that lower end stuff is really getting hit where it's like, we are overbooked even though we've jacked up our rents because there's not housing like that in the area.
So vacancy is almost never an issue for
Exactly.
you. See any bubble coming in the market? Any explosion coming?
I think no, first of all. And if it does, I think more of a correction than a bubble. I don't think we're gonna have issues like we did before. I think the other thing too is I've purchased in areas where I feel like we're kind of our own economy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to affect Rexburg. Rexburg is backed by a church. The university is backed by a church. You're still going to have people here that are buying housing and doing that. So I'm not worried about my stuff here. And same with Idaho Falls. I don't think it's going to affect us huge, even if it does happen.
Oh gosh. See guys, the more you wedge, the more you can insulate yourself from the little bumps in the road. People seem to think that buying a house and starting out small is risky and dangerous. But if you have a professional helping you out, you really begin to learn how you can insulate yourself and absorb these nasty bumps, especially while you're learning. And what is this all about? This is all about learning. That's why I sell a course, teaching you how to learn real estate. Yeah, guys, look, I talked to so many first-time homebuyers, helped so many first-time homebuyers get into great wedge deals, but it's a mission, and really without a professional helping them, there's no way they could do it. It would be a full-time job trying to invest themselves. This is why I mentor people in the real estate investing course, which is very inexpensive for the value you receive. And that really helps people get started, get that confidence. And 90% of real estate is about getting started. Once you get in, you talk to almost anybody who got into real estate, with the exception of people who got in like the 2000s, mid-2000s, people love it. So Chandler, a lot of people come to my channel and want to know, hey, can I start real estate with no income? I just want to be an investor already. What do you think about that?
You know what? I think you can get away with it. I definitely think it's something that's possible, but I think the work and energy and effort you'd have to put in to get into a property with no money is a lot. Where if you can get a good job and put aside money and then put that into real estate, that's going to be the best way to create an awesome passive income for yourself.
So really, while it's possible to start with nothing, it sounds like you're better off having a good income, and after you have a good income, then investing that income into real estate. Is that right, Chandler?
I love it, Kevin.
Man who waits for roast duck to fly into mouth will wait long time. Right, because duck don't cook itself. Is that it? So tell me a little bit more about making money. Because so many people, they come to me and they're like, I want to start in real estate, which I think is great. I think there are great opportunities to sell in real estate. But it sounds like you've got some killer opportunities too, that you could actually probably make more money faster than building that real estate brand, because you're going door to door. Tell me a little bit more about how long it takes people to get that first, $250 commission.
Yeah, I think door to door is something that anyone can do well fast if they come and put in the time. And what's so cool about it is an instant gratification thing. Now it's hard. I mean, you've got people coming and saying negative things and a lot of no's, but getting through that rejection, you learn a ton for this and for real estate and everything else. But if you're willing to go and sell something, people don't realize that their skill set is worth so much more.
A lot of people also, they say, hey, Will, wait a minute, Chandler. Are you just privileged because maybe you already have a good income and it's easy for you to say, oh yeah, invest in real estate. Are you jaded by your income at all?
You know, I think I'm not jaded at all, because the reality is there's so many ways to make enough income to get into real estate. And whether you're a W-2 employee or you own your own business or whatever you're doing, you can either choose to save money to put into real estate, or you can choose to increase your income. And I think one of those two options is available to everyone.
That's good, I agree. Folks, the real estate market is something that everybody's concerned about these days. You know, we're worried about the inversion of the yield curve. We're worried about interest rates. We're worried about Donald Trump's tax plan. What do you think, Chandler? Chandler, do you think the real estate market's gonna crash? And I don't.
Honestly, Kevin, I don't think the real estate market's going to crash for a while, if it does at all in the near future. And the reality is, even if it crashes, because I bought properties that cash flow well, they're going to continue to rent. And so I'm really not worried, because even if my properties go down in value and rents go down slightly, I'm still going to be cash flowing in a great place.
If somebody wanted to get started in this, the company's called Aptive, right?
It is, yeah.
I looked at their reputation online. It seems like they have really good reviews. It seems like they have a great service. And so you're selling this, which it's really easy. Well, it's a lot easier to sell a product or a service from a company that has a good reputation.
Definitely.
So that helps. The inverse is not true. It's very hard to sell when a reputation is bad online. Now, if somebody wanted to get into this, what do they do?
So they can reach out to me either through Instagram or anywhere else, but we also have a website for my sales region. It's just elitesummersales.com. They can check us out. We're Aptive Environmental as a company, but the best place is to hop on that elitesummersales.com to check us out.
Nice. So, and it's summer sales. So
Yeah.
somebody would travel or do within their own region, whatever. Where would they work?
So with us, that's what's really cool is a lot of times we're working with college students and they want to see the world, they want to experience something different, and they want to make great money. So we'll bring them in and then we can put them in our different offices. We have offices all over the United States. So California, we can put them down in Texas, we can put them over on the East Coast, in the Midwest. We've got areas all over. Most of my reps are working down in Texas or in California, and that's a lot of fun for them. They enjoy it and they make great money while they're doing it.
Dang, okay. So really somebody could just go to this website and have a summer job and start feeling what this door-to-door thing is all about, because it is exactly how not only you started getting the money to throw into real estate, but also how you're training your staff or the people working under you to take their proceeds and throw it into real estate.
Definitely.
Nice.
And what's so cool about it, I mean, you see the Grant Cardones pitching these thousands of dollars worth of trainings. For
Sales courses. and
Yeah.
that.
Where with us, all of our sales training is free, and I promise you our training is better than anyone else's.
I'm gonna come
Grant
take that
Cardone
training.
Definitely.
Grant Cardone included. Oh no. Don't sue me, bro.
You know, Kevin, I think that life is a sale. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're doing real estate, sales, whatever it is, those people skills are going to carry over into whatever you're doing. And so that's why with sales, it's going to give you a huge advantage in not only sales, but also real estate.
That sounds good, man. Let's say I want to make some more money, or like I'm slow in the summer or whatever. Or I didn't even have a real estate job and I just lost everything and had to start over, but I know I can sell. I'm confident I can put the grind in. How do I start? What do I have to do? Who do I call?
Yeah, reach out to me, Chandler David Smith, on all social media, or just hop on our website. It's elitesummersales.com, and there you can actually submit an application, and I'd love to sit down and talk to you and see if it's going to be a good fit.
Got it. And I think it's also very important to mention Chandler didn't sponsor this. I'm not getting paid to say this. I just think it's really exciting because one of the things that I always talk about, not only in the real estate investing course, but on the live streams that we do or just in videos in general, is you need to find a way to make money. And so many people come to me and say, Kevin, how do I make more money? How do I make more money? It's like, well, what are you doing? Oh, I don't have a job right now. Well, you're not investing in real estate then. Go get a job. So start with that. Go make some money. And then, ooh, presents. Look at these. Oh, they wobble. Thought they were solid. So there you have it. Chandler David Smith out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, with over $6 million of real estate. Started with nothing, doing the door-to-door sales, which you could do as well with the link that we've got right here for you. And folks, keep in mind, you need money to make money. So get started in real estate today. Chandler, any last minute advice for people watching this that want to get into real estate investing and want to be successful?
Start today and join your course.
Ah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
This is how you start in real estate. Hardcore. You just dive in. You just get in. Ah! I'm still okay. still wedging. I'll be there in a moment. I think we have to go to an easier run.